Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel for more of these videos. Today I want us to talk about Malabar spinach, or what we call Nderema. I have lots of it in my garden and I would like us to talk about it, and I'll give you 5 tips of growing the best Nderema ever, or lots of Nderema. Tip number 1, the sun. Nderema loves the sun. You should grow it in a spot where the sun hits it very well. It does very well in the hot seasons. When the sun is very hot, it still does very well. It doesn't dry, and it thrives in the sun. It requires full sunlight. So if you grow your Nderema in a shady place, it might not do as well, and so it's advisable to grow it where in an open space where it gets full sun. Tip number 2 is water. As you can see, the leaves are very like juicy. Even the stems are very soft. That means it takes in a lot of water and stores it in the leaves and also in the stems. So you should water your Nderema often. Mine starts from a sack, and therefore I keep on watering just one spot because it's just one plant. I make sure that I water it regularly but consistently. Make sure you water it regularly and consistently. As much as it does well in the sun, it also requires watering. Tip number 2 is grow it vertically. As you can see, it's a vine, it's a climbing vine, and so if you grow it on the ground, it's going to take over your garden. Like you can see, we pulled those ones back because they were starting to take over the other places in the garden, and so you should just grow it vertically for you to get the best. It's also very clean when it's growing vertically and it's climbing. You get cleaner leaves, and the washing is quite easier when it's growing vertically. Tip number 3, manure. As you can see, it's a very generous vegetable, and so if you feed it well, it loves drained soils. Mine is growing from that sack. I put half manure in that sack and a half soil, and so that's why it's doing very well. You should feed your Nderema. You should give it very healthy soil, and then it's going to give you lots and lots of food. All this is just from one plant because we feed it well. We also keep feeding that Nderema with our manure tea. As you can see, that bucket is where we brew our manure tea, and we feed it from that spot. And that's another brings us to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is grow it in a container where you can control the roots. So if you grow it from one container, like the way I grew mine from a big sack, I'm able to control the feeding of the plant. And so when I feed it from that one spot, it feeds the whole vegetable, and so I end up getting lots and lots of food from this plant. Then tip number 5 for growing lots and very healthy Nderema is pick it regularly. Mine is starting to get bushy. I usually pick it once every week, but you can pick it even more often. Like you can pick it every 2 days, so that you give it time and you encourage new growth. For all the leafy vegetables, the secret is to always to pick it regularly. Picking it encourages new leaves, and that makes sure that you get more and more food from it. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for coming, and I appreciate your support. Please remember to subscribe and like this channel. Always remember, if you have a vision, add some passion. Goodbye.